Hi everyone and welcome back to Mandarin Pod for Children. I'm Grace, your host and Mandarin learning coach. To protect speakers' privacy and enhance audio quality, some or all voices in this episode are created with AI assistance. The content is inspired by real-life classroom experiences of the eChineseLearning teaching team. Today's episode is for every parent who's ever asked themselves, why does my child do well in class but never use Mandarin anywhere else? They know the words, the teacher says they're doing fine, but at home it's like Mandarin disappears. It's frustrating, confusing, and very common. Joining me today is Ben, a dad from California whose 8-year-old daughter Sophie had exactly this issue. She passed every quiz, participated in class, but never said a single word of Mandarin outside her lessons. Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Grace. I'm really glad to be here. This was such a mystery for us for a long time, and I hope sharing our journey helps other families too.
Let's start from the beginning. How did Sophie first get into Mandarin?
It started with school, actually. Her elementary school offers Mandarin as an enrichment subject twice a week. My wife and I thought, why not? It's a great skill and Sophie seemed open to it. And honestly, she did great in class. Her teacher would send glowing reports. She could recite vocabulary, recognize simple sentences, but once she walked out of that classroom, nothing.
So how did that feel as a parent?
It was frustrating. I kept thinking, if she knows the words, why isn't she using them? We tried to casually ask her, how do you say this in Mandarin? And she'd just shrug or say, I don't know, and I thought she was being stubborn.
That's such a common reaction. But actually what Sophie was experiencing is what we call context locking. When children learn a language in one specific environment, like a classroom, they subconsciously associate that language with that space. Outside of it, their brain says, this isn't where I use that language.
That makes so much sense now. But at the time, we just felt stuck. We didn't speak Mandarin ourselves, so we couldn't model it. And we didn't want to push too hard and make her hate it.
You were wise to pause instead of pushing. Because this situation isn't about memory, it's about transfer. The challenge is helping kids carry what they know from one space into another. That requires bridges. Let's talk about how you eventually built those bridges.
Well, we started really small. The first breakthrough came when we let her be the teacher. One day I asked her to teach me just one word she learned that week, any word. I told her I'd try to use it at dinner. She picked the word for fish. So at dinner I held up a fish stick and said, is this you? And she laughed so hard and corrected my pronunciation. Then she said it properly and used it in a full sentence.
That's a brilliant shift. You move the power dynamic. When a child teaches a parent, their brain switches from student mode to expert mode. That creates confidence, and confidence leads to more use.
Exactly. We didn't quiz her anymore. We invited her. We'd say things like, can you pick one word we all have to use at breakfast tomorrow? She loved being in charge.
You also created something we call low-stakes language exposure. No tests, no worksheets, just play and participation. That's when usage begins to expand beyond the classroom.
Totally. We started a Sunday game called Sophie's Mandarin Challenge. She picks 3 words she's learned and we have to use them somehow during the day. She gets a small prize if we succeed, like choosing a movie or snack.
That's fantastic. For listeners taking notes, here's why that works. First, it gives your child autonomy. Second, it reinforces classroom vocabulary through real-world repetition. Third, it builds a family habit of celebrating effort, not accuracy. Let's go deeper. What else did you try?
We also added subtle Mandarin visibility around the house. We printed out a few vocabulary cards, just 10 at a time, and stuck them on the fridge or her bedroom wall. No pressure. But every now and then she'd look at them and read them out loud to herself.
That's called passive review, and it's incredibly powerful. When kids see the words regularly, they internalize them without even realizing it. It's especially effective for non-speaker families because the environment starts speaking for you.
Yeah, and we learned not to overdo it. 10 words a month. That's it. We never try to cover everything, just keep it light.
That's a crucial tip for our listeners. Light is right. Too many materials become visual clutter. 10 words they see and use are worth more than 100 they forget.
And Grace, one of the best things we did was actually ask Sophie what helped her remember words. Her answer shocked us. I remember them better when I draw them.
Wow. That's beautiful and so on point. Kids are wired for multimodal learning. Drawing, acting, singing, these are all language pathways. A child doesn't need a textbook. They need expression opportunities.
We started a little notebook called Sophie's Mandarin Sketchbook. She'd draw something related to her class that week and label it. Sometimes the labels were phonetic, sometimes totally wrong, but we didn't correct her. We just praised her effort.
Which is the right call. Accuracy comes with time. Ownership comes with freedom. When kids feel free to explore a language without being corrected constantly, they choose to go deeper. So how's Sophie doing now?
She still doesn't use Mandarin all the time, but she's no longer avoiding it. She'll occasionally toss a word into dinner conversation. She laughs at Mandarin jokes in cartoons. She even tried reading subtitles out loud last week. We're not chasing fluency anymore. We're supporting comfort. And honestly, that's a big win.
That is a big win. Because comfort is the foundation for expression. And expression is the gateway to fluency. Let me summarize a few takeaways from your journey for our listeners. First, switch from testing to inviting. Ask your child to teach you. Second, introduce visual language anchors, a few cards on the fridge, on the mirror, by the breakfast table. Third, gamify it their way. Let your child pick challenge words, make silly prizes, or draw their learning. Fourth, celebrate comfort more than correctness. The goal is not perfect Mandarin, it's happy Mandarin. Fifth, keep your expectations flexible. Progress in usage often comes in waves, not steps. Ben, thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Thank you, Grace. I've learned so much just from paying attention to how she learns. And it's made our whole family closer.
That's the perfect note to end on. And to our listeners, if your child seems to leave Mandarin at the classroom door, don't assume they're not learning. They just need new bridges. Let them teach. Let them play. Let them feel safe, and language will follow. And if you want a partner to help you build those bridges, check out a free one-on-one trial lesson at eChineseLearning.com. Our experienced coaches can work with your child's style even if you don't speak a word of Mandarin yourself. Until next time, I'm Grace. Keep it light, keep it loving, and remember, connection always comes before correction.